Hello, everyone. This is Mark Peterson with the Frog Outside the Well Research Center, and today we've got a very special presentation. We're interviewing the winner and one of the second prize winners of the Los Angeles Sijo Contest, Daisy Lim. Is that the way you say your name, Daisy?
Lim? Yeah, Daisy Lim.
Oh, you say Lim. That's an Americanized pronunciation. I'm used to saying Im in Korean, actually. Welcome, Daisy. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
And also, winner second prize is Chuck Newell. Now, Chuck, I've met before. He went on a seminar with me to Korea and is an active teacher of Sijo in his literature class in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chuck, tell us about the name of your school and what you teach.
Okay, I teach at Notre Dame High School, which is obviously the local Catholic school, and I've taught English, mostly senior English, there for about 20 years. And every year we work in Sijo poetry, and along with haiku every year, and enter different poetry contests.
Good for you. Daisy, what's your background as far as profession and schooling? What have you done?
Well, I'm an editor working for a pharmaceutical test preparation company. I got my MFA in creative writing from Kingston University in London, and I've sort of always been a casual writer and like to write Sijos.
Well, congratulations to both of you, and let's go over your Sijo. Would you like to perform your Sijo in English for us, Daisy?
Sure. Okay, it doesn't have a title. Cold moon cold, blank white gleaming, on full nights I see your edge. One smooth arc, silver circle, night sky, night light, dreamer's bedmate. Cold moon cold, you social distance, earth's buddy, you do it right.
Very nice, very nice. You are really a poet, are you not? You do some creative writing, some poetry.
Yeah, so for my MFA, I did focus on poetry and really enjoyed it. I really like form poetry. I like following formulas and that sort of thing with my poems, so the Sijo kind of fits in perfectly.
Have you done haiku?
Yes, I have. I can't say I've really done it as an adult. It's definitely something I did in high school. You know, in my creative writing class in high school, it was definitely part of the curriculum, but I can't say I've done it so much as an adult.
And the Sijo that you wrote for this contest, is this the first Sijo that you've published or worked on?
No, it's the first one that's been seen by anybody, but I have definitely written Sijos before.
Chuck, let's have you do your poem for us. Do you have yours there, Chuck?
I do, yes. Also untitled. In the east, the sun rises. It melts away the morning dew. In the west, the sun sets. The last warmth of day fades over the hill. This is how I mark pandemic time. The day, the month, matters not.
Capturing the moment, capturing this pandemic era we're trying to live through somehow. Have you published any other Sijo heretofore?
I've had a few other poems, but never a Sijo.
But you've been teaching Sijo for a while.
Right, about 7 or 8 years, I believe.
Daisy, tell me, how did you come to enter the contest? You haven't entered the Sejong contest, but you entered the LA contest, right?
Yeah, so I had no idea that there were even contests for Sijos. So KCCLA is, I follow them on social media. I take Korean language courses with them. So I just happened to see them post this new contest that they were having. So, and I'll probably join the Sejong contest when that comes around again.
So Daisy, you're Korean American. How much is being a Korean American an advantage to you in learning Sijo? You didn't grow up with it, did you?
No, I did not grow up with it. I discovered it during my MFA research. So I don't know how much being Korean American has benefited me in that sense, though I think maybe being a poet and having studied poetry may have influenced that a little bit more.
Good. And Chuck, you're going to keep entering again and keep encouraging your students to enter?
Oh, yes. Again, like you, I find it a really rewarding experience, almost kind of a meditative experience, just to focus on a poem and sit down and try to put images and words together to create meaning. And
now you've been associated with the Sejong Cultural Society. In fact, they have a video of you teaching that people can log on to and use to learn how to write a Sijo. you're one of their resources. But how did you find out about the LA Korean Cultural Center's contest?
Well, I think it was because of you. I think since we've worked together in the past, I think you put something about it on social media somewhere. And I go, okay, well, again, during the summer, during the pandemic, again, it helped me pass the time, right? And so, again, I'm glad I entered.
We really appreciate the LA Cultural Center doing this. Is this Sijo business that we're trying to do, that the three of us are involved in, and others who've entered the contest, can we call it a movement? Is there a Sijo movement in America? What do you think, Daisy?
I want it to be. I would say that I want it to be, but I do think that I don't know very many people personally who know about it yet. But I do tell my friends, I told a lot of my friends to enter this contest. So I think you were saying earlier, it's in a sort of pre-movement. So hopefully we can push it beyond that.
That might be a good thing. Maybe we're not quite at a movement level. What do you think, Chuck? Would you call it a movement yet?
I think it's getting there. Again, I'm in little bitty Chattanooga, Tennessee, teaching mostly non-Korean students how to write Korean poetry. The teachers I've worked with who also teach it, we talked about the Elizabeth Jorgensen from Wisconsin. There was a teacher from Colorado who had several prize winners. I can't think of all the other states. There seems, when you look at the prize winners, they come from, all over the country, northeast, southwest. So I think it's gaining momentum, yes. And
when you look at the winners, at their names, you can't always tell who's a Korean American and who's not by their names. But Daisy Lim is in the minority as far as being a Korean involved in the Sijo contest, because most of the people in the contest have Anglo or Hispanic or even Chinese or Japanese non-Korean names. Let me ask one thing. To make it into a movement, to grow to a movement, I look at haiku. I'm very jealous of haiku. There's a Korean saying, my cousin bought some land and I got a stomachache. And I feel that way about haiku, because here I'm this Koreanist and I want Sijo to have the success that haiku has had. Well, what would each of you say about the relative success of haiku, and is that a role model that Sijo can follow or is following? What do you think, Daisy?
I definitely think so, especially, Korean culture in general is having a big boom. K-pop is a huge thing. Korean food, just the culture in general is having a really big movement, as you might say. And I think that following that, Sijo might also become a very popular part of learning about Korean culture.
Chuck, I see haiku in every school. My students that come to me at the university, I ask them if they've studied haiku. They've all studied haiku. I was at a restaurant the other day and I was talking to somebody about Sijo and haiku. And I said, everyone in America has studied haiku. And the people at the restaurant, there were some Koreans, some Americans, they said, no, I don't think so. And I said, yeah, watch. And I called the waiter over. So ordinary, Joe waiter. And I said, hey, when you were in grade school, did you study haiku? He said, yeah, we did haiku. I said, did you write one? He said, yeah. And I said, could you recite it for me? He said, oh, no, that's been 100 years ago. I couldn't do that. And he left, waiting on other tables. He came back a few minutes later and said, I remember it. And he did his haiku from the 4th grade. And I'm jealous of that. I'd like to see Sijo get to that level. What do you think, Chuck? Can Sijo ever get to the haiku level?
Maybe. Confession here, my gateway into writing Sijo is to first teach students how to write haiku. And we look at traditional Japanese haiku and just talk about how it's 3-line form based on imagery. And maybe we write a haiku and then we take that haiku and we turn it into a Sijo. We add more depth and detail.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to do it.
And the twist at the end that the haiku doesn't have. I guess haiku's advantage is everyone knows, you say 575, everyone knows haiku, and it's short and to the point. I think probably 95% of the haiku that people write probably are not really correct haiku if you want to be technical about it. Maybe. I like it because I have the advanced students, the older students in high school, and they've done the haiku. So the Sijo is a better challenge for them, especially my advanced students, my honor students, my AP students. They really latch on to the Sijo.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to both of you, and let me congratulate both of you again as winners and as good representatives of the Sijo movement,
Yes.
or the Sijo pre-movement, whatever we've got going here. But let's help spread the word and see if more people can't catch on to the joys and the beauties of Sijo along the way. So thank you both, and I'll sign off here. This is Mark Peterson with the Frog Outside the Well Research Center, thanking our two winners and thanking the Los Angeles Korean Cultural Center for sponsoring this contest and helping to spread the word about Sijo in America.